If you look at the just completed AFCON competition in Morocco, if you look at it as a whole, one thing you will notice is this: the most filled out stadiums were in games that Morocco, the host country, were playing. So it's easy. Moroccans just buy tickets and then just drive or walk to the stadium because it's easier for them. People find it difficult in Africa to spend their hard-earned money to go travel across countries in Africa to be spectators in these games that are played in Africa, whether club football or country football like we have the AFCON. There is a reason for that. Let me just give you a little bit of background. I've not been an ardent follower of African football, right? To be quite honest with you, I started following African football really as closely as possible in the last AFCON, right? Now in this AFCON, I've been with it. I've followed it, right? I've followed the games, the group stage, the round of 16, everything, the knockouts. I've followed everything up until the final yesterday, right? I have never seen this degree of shamelessness displayed on TV for the whole world to see what is going on in AFCON or what has went down in AFCON. I've never seen it before in football. This is a pure disgrace in 2026. These are the things that happened in Southern American countries 100 years ago. It's happening in Africa in 2026. The behavior of Morocco in this AFCON leaves me dumbfounded. It gives like I cannot conjure words to describe what I'm seeing in this AFCON. This is shameless. This is shameless, right? So you have a player like Hakimi, a world recognized superstar that plays for PSG, the captain of the Moroccan team, behaving like a mad, uneducated, random fan that just walked into the stadium and start behaving like a very stupid person. No discipline, no shame whatsoever. Morocco tried every stop to make sure that they win this AFCON. Even as a host country, the advantage of being a host country was not enough for them. They were pulling every stop. The influence on the officiating, the behavior of their fans, and even their players. Someone like Hakimi, taking the towel of the Senegalese goalkeeper to go and remove it, knowing the importance of that towel for the goalkeeper, to dry up his hands, his gloves, and make sure that he can hold the ball. Well, they were pulling every stop in the book, every stop that is against the law in football. Morocco pulled it in this tournament, and this is shameful, very, very, very shameful. I've seen some people complain about the decision of the Senegalese coach to ask his players to leave the field and not play anymore. Right? I've seen some people criticize it. I mean, you can have your opinion, you can criticize it, right? But come on, man. Like, at what point do you stand up to corruption? At what point? That is my question. At what point do you say enough is enough? I cannot take this anymore. There is something you have to understand. There were a time when owning slaves was the law. There was a time in America when owning slaves was a law. There was a time when killing Jews in Germany was a law. It was the law. It was a part of the rules. Because it is the rules does not mean that you must follow it, bro. What happened in AFCON deserve the response that coach and the Senegalese players gave. I can tell you, I admire Sadio Mane. I admire the courage of Sadio Mane. I admire the manliness of Sadio Mane to go to his players and say, come back, let us continue this, let us see it out, right? And at the end of the day, it was settled in their favor. Right? But I will not take anything away from that coach and the players who walked out. At what point do you say no to corruption? No, I cannot take this anymore. At what point do you say it? So while I admire Sadio Mane, I also admire the heck out of the Senegalese team for walking out. Thank you guys very much for walking out. I would have done the same thing. And thank you to the Senegalese fans for saying no, enough, we will not take this rubbish. Some people were talking about it's a childish behavior to walk out of the pitch. I would rather be a child than be as corrupt as Morocco has shown to be in this AFCON. I would rather be a child than be that corrupt. The supporters, the fans of Morocco, not the first time, not the second time, not the third time, I think 4 or 5 times, took the hand towel of Mwabale, the Nigerian goalkeeper. They took it away. So you're telling me that during this period of time, the camera never caught it? The referee did not know about it? Is that what you're telling me? The referee, the officiating team did not see anything about it to do something to stop this thing from happening? They saw it and they all kept quiet because like I said, they were pulling every stop to make sure that Morocco got to the final and they win the AFCON. At the final, they repeated the same thing to the point of dragging the goalkeeper's towel with the second goalkeeper. When the man came out and said, no, I will not allow you to take this towel of my goalkeeper, they were literally in front of the camera. The game was going on. They were dragging the towel of the goalkeeper. How shameless can you be? Like, how low are you willing to go? Do you think this action, just looking at the video, just look at the video, can you imagine in your head this happening in Europe? Please just tell me, can you imagine in your head what you're watching in the screen here happening in Europe? The fan or even it's not even at this point, it's not even the fans, it's not just the fans of Morocco anymore. This time, even the ball boy and the officials of Morocco were involved to take away the hand towel of the Senegalese goalkeeper. Imagine that happening in Europe, please. Just imagine it for a moment. Is that even possible to happen in Europe? This kind of things happen in Africa. The FIFA president was there. They allow this kind of things to continue in Africa. And somebody has the audacity to come out and ask, why would the Senegalese players walk out of the pitch? I'm not even talking about the goal they disallowed. I'm not even talking about the stupid penalty they give. I'm even talking about all these small things that people turn a blind eye to. This thing you play in Africa, is it football? Is this how they play football? Is this how they manage football? People at CAF, you guys have to be very shameless to stoop to this low, to allow this kind of rubbish to continue to happen in African football. You people are the most hapless individuals or group of people or organization that exist as far as football is concerned. CAF, you people are very hapless and very stupid. I'm telling the gospel truth. People are very stupid. People spend their time and their money to come and see this nonsense. One corruption on top of the other, one corruption on top of the other. And people have the temerity to come and ask the Senegalese players why they walked out of the pitch, that it was a childish behavior. You people are very mad to even open your mouth and say that nonsense, that it was a childish behavior. You don't have sense. Tomorrow you ask the reason why African football doesn't fill stadiums. It's because of this nonsense. You think I will come and spend my own money, and I had any money to come and sit in the stadium and watch the nonsense that happened between Senegal and Morocco? You think I will spend my money to come and watch that rubbish? The next AFCON, we are still going to host in Morocco. Morocco should be stripped of the license to host AFCON for the next 100 years. They are not supposed to host AFCON for the next 100 years. They are the worst I've ever seen as host of any tournament.